What's the best way to repair damaged 80s vintage circuit boards? Imagine holding a piece of history in your hands, a circuit board from the 1980s that once powered a beloved device. Restoring this piece of nostalgia is a rewarding challenge that keeps the spirit of vintage technology alive. To start, you need to carefully examine the board for obvious damage like broken traces, burnt components, or corrosion. Use a magnifying glass and good lighting to spot tiny cracks or lifted pads that might not be visible at first glance. Next, check the power supply and follow the signal path with a digital multimeter. This helps you identify where the circuit is failing without guessing. Many common issues in these vintage boards involve electrolytic capacitors, which tend to dry out or leak over time. Replacing these is called recapping, and it is often the most effective fix. For through-hole capacitors, simply desolder the old ones and solder in new, compatible parts. Make sure the new capacitors match the voltage and capacitance ratings of the originals. If you encounter surface mount capacitors, you may need a fine-tipped soldering iron and a vacuum desoldering pump. These are less common in early 80s gear but still possible. When removing and replacing components, always use a properly heated soldering iron and apply flux to ensure smooth solder joints. Protect heat-sensitive parts with heat sinks like small pliers or clips to prevent damage. After soldering, clean the area with flux remover solvent to avoid residue that could cause corrosion later. If you find damaged traces or pads, you can repair them by scraping away the solder mask and applying conductive epoxy or solder bridges. For broken traces, tiny wire jumpers soldered across the damaged section can restore connectivity. Always remove batteries from vintage devices before storing or repairing to avoid battery acid leaks that can eat away at the circuit board. Restoring these boards is not just about making them work again. It's about preserving a piece of the past. Using tools and techniques that mimic those from the 80s keeps the repair authentic and fun. Many collectors and enthusiasts find satisfaction in hands-on repairs that reflected the craftsmanship of that era. To sum up, the best way to repair damaged vintage circuit boards involves a systematic diagnosis, careful component replacement, and creative trace repair. Focus on recapping electrolytic capacitors, using proper soldering methods, and restoring damaged traces with conductive materials or tiny wires. Always remove batteries before storage to prevent further corrosion. And most importantly, enjoy the process of bringing a piece of history back to life with your own hands.